Was Robert Greene really the first person to take you under his wing in that way, or was there someone else who was sort of a pivotal teacher to you?
Sure.
And how did that come to be?
Yeah. So actually, before I met Robert, I was working with Tucker Max, who we both know.
Right. And Robert, of course, just to give some context, maybe you could give some context on both of them.
Yeah, so Robert Greene wrote The 48 Laws of Power, The Art of Seduction, and The 33 Strategies of War. And then I met him in 2006, 2007. I was in college. I met him through Tucker Max, who's another #1 New York Times bestselling author, sort of known as a really good sort of internet marketer and thinker, and then also does crazy things. But I met Tucker showed me about marketing. He introduced me to Robert. Robert really showed me about writing and researching and learning. And I worked with Robert on his last 2 books. He wrote one called The 50th Law, which is about fearlessness with the rapper 50 Cent. And then he wrote one called Mastery, which is about, becoming a master at whatever it is that you do.
Yeah, great book.
Yeah, I love it. It was like an honor to be a part of it. So those were my two mentors in like sort of direct mentorships. But I also think
how did you, not to interject, but how did you, just in the sort of the details, the nuts and bolts, how did you initially connect with Tucker Max? How did you initially?
It all goes back to this college newspaper. I had a column there, and I decided I would use it as an excuse to write articles about people I wanted to meet. Mm-hmm. And so I wrote a review about Tucker's website, and I emailed it to him, and we just started this relationship, and then I would just email him and ask questions. So it's funny, I think you probably see this, like people think mentorships are these like very official relationships, like the way that an apprenticeship was like your parents basically sold you to someone in exchange for like room and board for a certain number of years, and then you officially learn a trade. Like a mentor is anyone who you learn from, who gives you advice and teaches you things, and you don't actually have to meet them for them to be your mentor. Seneca talks about this. I forget who he's talking about, but he says find yourself someone that you can use as like a benchmark or a ruler to compare yourself to, so you can decide when you have, difficult choices, like what would this person do in this situation? How would they act? What should I do here? And so, I would even say you were definitely one of those people. We don't have some official mentor-mentee relationship, but you've taught me so much, and I've asked you questions, and hopefully, it's gone both ways. But you're older than me, you're more successful than me, you've taught me things, and that's what I think a mentorship is. And you can have that with basically anyone. I think a lot of people, they hold out for this sanctioned official relationship rather than just learning from anyone who has wisdom or advice or value that they could pass your way, and if you put it into practice and you do something with it, they see value in that as well.